This is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. I'm Christopher Saunders. I'm pleased to have back on my show. He was on during the last year, about late fall, and somehow I convinced him to come back on. He's now a Hall of Famer at Woodland Regional High School. He's also the Plainville Head Coach. Coach Tim Shea, it's a pleasure to be able to have you on.
Thanks. It's always a good time talking to you. I think this is, I don't know, the third time. I think a bunch of the thread had a lot to say, saying, you're the first one of the summer series, and I was like, oh, that's right. They're like, there's certain standards I got to live up to. So I think I'm ready.
But hey, it's you're a Hall of Famer. I don't know if I'm worthy enough to be able to talk to you. I mean, hey,
no, I was. Listen, I'm very modest. I'm turning red right now. I was very lucky, and I say it over and over, to be surrounded by some great people. And around some great people and around some great kids. It was a great time, and I think, it shows the amount of success we had because of that. And I think we get to relive some of that now. And my best advice to all my young coaches is always surround yourself with great people, make you look good. And a lot of people have done that for me, and I owe it, to so many more people than me. I was just the guy lucky enough to be there at the right place at the right time.
Just kind of take me into, when you got the text or the phone call about how, I mean, was this something that you even, hinted about? Was it something that maybe someone told you that it could possibly happen?
And I was told I was nominated. I was like, okay, sure, fine. And Chris Anderson, texted me last week. I have a banter with Chris. Him and I were, shared an office 12 years together, and we were I thought, he goes, can you talk to me? I got to talk to you. Call me. I was like, well, I'm in a staff meeting. Do I need to walk out important? He goes, no, just call me later. So I'm thinking in my head in my meeting saying, all right, what came up? Because there are game scrimmage now. I said, all right, we do this and that. So I get in the car. I'm like, all right, what's up? What happened? And he told me. I was like, wow. I was like, huh. So okay, and just sort of sat in my car in the parking lot and drove home. And he's like, well, what day is it? I said, what day is it? He said, it's a Tuesday night before Thanksgiving. I said, I got practice. I got practice. We got Farmington on Thanksgiving. I was like, you got Ansonia on Thanksgiving. Woodland's got Seymour on Wednesday night, and we're having a dinner on Tuesday night. And he goes, yes. So, okay, I'll just practice. We'll practice earlier that day, I guess.
I'm not going to lie to you. I can't say I'm surprised that the first thing you thought of about when you asked the day, you were like, oh, I have practice.
Yeah.
Seymour's playing Woodland, and Sonia's got Naugatuck. And
yeah. That's like we're all big. We got games to win. Like, nope. I'm like, all right, I'll, like everything else, football coaches or any coach in general, all right, we'll adjust.
Oh yeah, I mean, if anything, I think the coaches learned over the last year about adjusting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Plan A becomes plan E, F, and G real quick.
If not more letters of the alphabet.
Correct. And it's summertime. I don't want to drop too many school things on the kids now. So yeah, you're right.
So I kind of want to go into, obviously, when you were told, and you said you were driving home.
Yep.
Was that something that you were like? Was it kind of like pondering? I don't want to say pondering, but just going through your mind, like, wow, I'm a Hall of Famer. Like, people thought of me this way, or was it kind of just like you said, it was like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, yeah, you start to think of, it's a great time then to reminisce, a little bit. I mean, my sister's in Naugatucks, she's the athlete of the family. She was, she had like 12 varsity letters at Naughty. She was like back then she was like the second woman ever. And my nephew, that's her son, the baseball player, so it's, we always teased her, but I think it allows you a time to sit back and think about the kids, the years. The weekend before was, Chris Maffo's 40th. So a lot of got back together with a lot of, before we even knew this, a lot of those kids, just different classes, different generations of kids, just talking about this, that, and a few of those kids are older now, so they feel comfortable to, give me a few things that they didn't like, or a few of the things they used to, say about me. That's fine. I laughed. I was like, really? I laughed, so it allowed me to reminisce. And I was nervous about what kind of questions you're going to ask. I'm going, oh man, I got to start writing stuff down. I don't want to forget a kid. I don't want to forget a generation or a coach for that matter too. So I'm like, oh, geez, well.
That must have taken you a while to write down all those names and all those coaches and such.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got plenty of time to worry about that night for that, but just thinking about, it's like, wow, just remembering some of the stuff we did then,
Mhm.
starting there in 2002. It's amazing that we did it, and just like seeing those kids, guys and girls, grow up and how things are now. And I think the big thing really is, you know, I think there's now finally a real turnover at Woodland staff wise, just in general. It's because it's been 20 years. There's like a new generation of coaches, teachers, administrators. And I think, you don't ever want the current group to forget what the old group was. I think there are some tremendous people there that I got to work with, that I would do just about anything for, and my kids that played for me that there too. And I think it's been good the last few days to be able to reminisce and think about this stuff too. So I am glad. I'm humbled. It's good to think about.
I'm a big believer in having, history is so big. I mean, I loved history when I was a kid. And I think,
Mhm.
especially in sports, and then you mentioned about the coaches in the past and with
Yeah,
Woodland when it opened up and everything. I think it's good to have that because not so much to just have relics and say, oh, this was the good old days. No, it's good to be able to show the future, kids, administrators, coaches,
yeah,
hey, this is what Woodland was like when it first opened, and here's the people that laid the ground that you're walking on right now. This
yeah,
is what you did to get you where you are right now.
yeah. We always liked it when alumni kids would come back, volunteer their time, even if it was only for a year or a season, until they got real jobs and moved on with their lives. So that was kind of the bridge, in there. In the weight room, there's a lot of pictures on the wall, and it was always great when those guys would come in and you put an actual living body to a picture on the wall and just names and stories of what you heard too. So I think the good thing about real good programs is they have that link to the past, but it's also for the future too when you get those other kids around, which I think is very beneficial.
Now your phone is ringing. Is that another person to congratulate you?
No, that's probably a bill collector or somebody with my car warranty. It's definitely the car warranty people probably because it says the caller ID that says scam likely.
I get the same thing on my iPhone. I'm so glad I see that because typically I answer because you just never know who's going to call.
Right. That was actually our house phone, and I don't even know our house phone number. I need to get rid of that. You never use it.
People who has that still.
Apparently, I do. Probably save me some money getting rid of it too.
Yeah, right. So I just wanted to go real back, as far we were talking about the history and such. Now, when you were you kind of debating how you were going to, because you strike me, and I've known you now for over a year. You don't strike me as the kind of person that likes to gloat, likes to kind of really
Oh,
exactly. You kind of keep it all like very,
yeah.
like you said about how Plainville very blue collar. You're a blue collar kind of guy. So when you saw Kingsley post it, kind of how was that? Was it, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but was it like, yeah, I got to say I got it, but I really don't want to sound like I'm gloating. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, I was very proud for him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He was one of my guys. He played for me. I was
Mhm.
very, very proud for him. And I still don't know the whole list of who they are. All Kyle said was, when I talked to him a little bit, was just it's a good bridge between the kids going in. He said, and me, because I got ties. He said just about all of them. And I think the big thing a lot of people don't talk about is track.
Mhm.
It's we were a very successful track program then. And I think that's something that I'm happy that some of those kids are going to get recognized too, because we had quite the run there too. But as for what you just asked, it was like, oh, I don't like the gloat. I don't like to, put my head down, go to work. And I think, in private, I do like moments like that with the kids. Hey, I'm very happy for them. It's great when they text you, call you, and I always tease them. That's all I want is a picture. And I always tell them, I said, it's kind of like the movie. I go, sooner or later in life, you're going to have to repay a favor. And I'm going to ask you, and you can't say no. It's kind of like the Godfather. I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse, and stuff like that. I'm just happy as a coach and as an adult, just to see those kids grow. Now some of them are getting married now, having kids. it's kind of funny, and it's like, wow, okay, they turned out all right. And if I had a role to play in that, great.
Well, it's the beauty of being a coach, man. I think you know that. I think every coach would say that. I mean, not every player is going to go to, play college
Right.
sports. They're not less than 1% go to the pros. I think the
Right.
biggest thing is preparing the young men and women to be good husbands, good father,
Yep.
good wife, whatever it is, but just prepare them for their next chapter in life whenever sports
Yeah,
conclude.
yeah. That's actually in our mission statement. We're building better men.
Mhm.
And I got to finally, we finally had our last senior thing last week at Plainville, where I got to see those kids. I gave them their jerseys, and I joked with the parents as I said, hopefully I gave them back to you a little better than when I got them. And they are like, yeah, and that was a good time too. I was reflecting on all that. Then I got the other thing the following day. I'm like,
Roller coaster.
yeah. Just, putting things in perspective, reminiscing about, because you can at the end of the school year, and then this all of a sudden, boom. Oh, this now. Okay, well, all right. The good news is I was in the weight room today, 5:45. It was great. So all clicked and locked back in.
Now, have you even thought about, I mean, I'm sure you haven't even thought about the speech because obviously the name's got to go with it. But is that something that's like, you know what, I'll wait until it gets closer because if I do it now, you may forget somebody.
Yeah, I'm always afraid of that. There was a couple of times I forgot an assistant coach or two, and sitting at the head table, and it's like, and people, I'm sorry, I'll obviously take notes as we get closer of the important stuff of
Mhm.
so you don't forget anybody. But I don't mind speaking, you know, ironically, I don't mind it. It goes with the job, it goes with the business. I think it'll be funny looking out into the audience a little bit, depending upon who's there.
Mhm.
Because there was always like, there's always ADs are like, oh, what's the football coach going to say now? There was always times when we'd have our parent nights, and Mr. Fell would be sitting there. He used to be sitting in the front row like this, waiting for me to say something. So I'm sure there'll be a comment like, "Don't worry, Brian. You don't have to worry about what comes out of my mouth tonight." So something along that. But it'll be fun. I'm sure I'll have something prepared. And like all football coaches, and we'll my watch is going crazy, and we'll go from there.
The watch is going crazy because everybody's congratulating you. I mean,
No, one of these apps. I don't know what. Yeah, I'll deal with Siri later.
so I'm thinking about kind of how the voting kind of went in, you being acknowledged, then finally being inducted, or being told like, hey, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Think of the committee, and I just think of how much, and have you kind of thought like what you did at your time at Woodland? Because for people to remember what you did, as the amount of years that you have not been there and such, that's
Yeah.
to what you did.
I left football there in spring of 14. I left track there spring of 16. And yeah, it's again, I was surrounded by some good people, some good kids, parents, administrators, obviously coaches, and we had a great run. It was a special time. It was a fun time there. There was some hard times, but even those were, it's all part of the process. And we were lucky that we were successful, not only as people academically, but also athletically. I think, the joke we always said is, just walk in the gym and look up, or walk in the hall. I think Woodland does a cool thing with their athletic hallway. Like they have all the trophies, the plaques, and each all-state kid has a plaque mounted on the wall. And the thing we used to joke about is, yeah, go in the gym, look up, that'll tell you, or walk down the hallway, that'll see. And people always forgot when the school opened, you are in the heart of the valley where athletics is important, amongst other things, and then they started hiring coaches there when the school opened, like on Chris's football staff, Anderson's football staff, he had every valley town was represented, which that was half the fun, was going back and forth at each other. You're from there, and the old joke was, me and Tim Phipps, apparently, Timmy played at Ansonia, as we know. I played at Noggin. Apparently, there was a time when he was a junior, I was a senior. We were getting beat on Thanksgiving. It was late in the game, and Coach Peters wouldn't take me out. And apparently, I had a personal foul on Coach Phipps. I picked him up, slammed him on his head, and he got 15 yards for it. I had no idea this was even happening until my very first Woodland meeting ever, when he introduced himself. And I was like, "That's right, that did happen." So it's crazy. It's crazy, and to this day, we still talk about that.
I think we call that now old man strength, as you would say.
Well, I was 17. We were getting beat. Game was over. I wanted to go out. I wanted to get out. And I politely told Timmy, "Don't run this way again." He did. I picked him up, threw him on his head. You can ask Fipsy this; he'll tell you it verbatim.
I can't wait for the conversations I have with Coach Anderson, because now with him being the coach of Naugatuck,
Yeah.
I mean, the scrimmage alone, I think, is going to be a lot of fun, and I think even more, to see two great coaches like yourselves, even in a scrimmage set.
Yeah.
Intriguing too.
Yeah, I mean, Woodland was our game scrimmage the last couple of years, anyways. But yeah, it'll be fun, because even a few weeks ago we were like, I was egging on some of the coaches, the guys that played for me, and also the alumni, just egging them both on, going back and forth about so and so's going here. What are you going to deal with this now, this week and that week and this? So it was funny. And I just sort of sat back and let them go at it with each other. So that was fun too.
That's too funny, Coach. But hey, I just want to say congratulations on being, getting in. You will be inducted in a couple months. But
so we got practice first. We got practice.
Yes, you have practice.
We got a game.
Many practices and games. But hey, congratulations on being a Hall of Famer. I'll say it a couple months in advance, but you couldn't have gone to a better guy. Seriously.
Well, again, it's a lot of people played a part in this. Too many to remember, but it's. I was glad I was there during that time, and things happen for reasons. You're in that space of time for a reason, and we were pretty successful when we were there. So I was glad I was able to be a part of that.
Coach, be well. Enjoy the rest of your week, and don't let the Hall of Famer get too much to your head. Remember, you still got to pick up the dog poop.
Yeah. You can get a landmine and the real Coach Shea, as we call my wife, she's the boss. So.
Hey, what's the saying? Happy wife, happy life.
Correct.
I don't know that saying.
You'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, very soon, Coach. But hey, be well.
You too, my friend.
Now, wrapping things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. RCT stands for Connecticut Talent, and I'm on a journey to find them all. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.